good.
Do you know if it'll play off Google Slides?
What's that?
Do you know if the clicker will do off Google Slides, like play the video?
So we will not stop the video.
Okay.
If you didn't, you have to set it up a certain way,
Okay.
such that when you click, it triggers the action to launch the video. So you'll need to use the mouse
Okay.
and click on the video. That's my guess, but why don't you give it a try? We haven't started yet, so you can take, you can take a few minutes and try this. Okay. Yeah.
We'll just play.
Okay.
Okay. You guys ready? All right, we're gonna start off with a video so you can get a good idea of what we're gonna be talking about.
Anytime,
After an ad.
from your morning meals to your midday cardio with 24-hour odor protection. Stay fresh on the job with new deodorant wipes.
No, Mom's gonna do the turkey. Yeah, Dad wants them frozen, so I guess we gotta get the miniature marshmallows. And I'll do the crescent rolls and you do the cranberries. No, I can't cook. Yeah, well, I'll see you tomorrow then. Gobble, gobble. Oh, bye-bye. Welcome to Marathon. May I help you?
So how many people have had this happen to them? Or had an experience similar? You have all now just participated in customer experience. Maybe. Okay, so what is customer experience? And how is it different than just customer service? Well, customer service is an interaction between a company and customer in the process of a sale or just anything. It's advice and counseling, whatever they need to be able to make a better purchase. But customer experience is the result of all of the services they've encountered in your company. It's the memory of the services. It's not just one service, it's each time you've gone back. So how do you build a good customer experience program? It starts, of course, with good customer service. Teaching your employees how to talk to customers, how to empathize with customers. Building their skills is relationship building skills, and focusing on being concerned and caring and just an overwhelming sense of goodwill towards your customers. And also how to handle difficult customers or difficult calls, being able to keep people focused and where they need to go with that call when you're working with them. And just be able to deal with the aggressive customers in a controlled manner. But how do you make this go from customer service to customer experience? Well, first, you have to remember that happy employees make happy customers. When your employees are empowered and engaged, they want to give better service. It becomes a kind of a competition within people. And they also become more open to discussing their ideas with the company. And this helps the companies improve just the general overall safety, hospitality, and company culture of the company. Listening to your customer's voice is remembering that your customer is the true owner of your brand. Making sure that they feel engaged in your processes. This will help you create better services and better help them as they go forward and they have need. And this also creates a customer network, which helps with word-of-mouth advertising. And the last thing is to be a little customer obsessed. This starts at hiring. Make sure you're hiring people not just for their skills, but for the values that you want in your company. And listening to your customer's voice. Oh no, I'm reading slides. So you also want to, after you hire, you want to make sure they're trained properly to be able to empower them. And then also, this is where you want to make sure you're focusing on having the right information systems and using actual data from your customers to improve your processes and quality of the service. And why do you want a good customer experience? Well, first of all, better customer experience, more customer acquisitions and retentions. And social media is huge these days, so word of mouth advertising is bigger than it's ever been. There was a Nielsen study that says 92% of people rely on recommendations from friends and family before they make purchases. There was also a Harvard Review study that says that a good customer experience will put a 74% chance of retention. So if a customer is a customer now, there's a 74% chance they'll be a customer next year based off of a good customer experience program. Better customer engagement. When you have that customer experience, the customer has no problem coming to you with their concerns. They don't feel like they're complaining. They don't feel like they're being aggressive. They're trying to help you help them. And that is benefit beyond anything you could ever believe. Cost of service and marketing goes down. You have your word of mouth advertising. Plus, you know your customer. You know your target better. So you don't have to invest as much as in the guesswork of marketing. And there was a study done by Oracle that says poor customer experience programs can result in 20% loss of revenue. But the most important factor to me is this improved crisis management. And it comes in 2 steps. You have the customer base, and you've built this layer of trust. So you are preventing issues because you're being able to identify them sooner and preventing them before they become a crisis. But if they do turn into a crisis, because of that layer of trust, your customers are more willing to bear it and work with you and weather out the crisis and maintain that customer service. And then here are just some other stats for you, but a company that exemplifies customer experience really well is Zappos.
So we decided to do Zappos, as he said, and they are powered by service. So the first thing that we discovered was their contact info is easy to find. On their website, the very top, it says customer service, and then underneath it has different ways of the way Zappos does customer service, and they also have their 1-800 number. There's also more than just the phone number to connect. Of course, you can always call them. It's a 24/7 way. There's no phone trees and no phone scripts, so if you call in for a question, the person you call is the person that's going to answer all your questions. You're not going to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I have to transfer you to so-and-so, and then just keep going that and wasting your time. You can always text them. They're able to respond to text and receive text from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific time. Email is another great way people try to use customer service. They will get back to you as soon as they can. And of course, you can contact them live, which allows you to answer your questions right there and get a response right away.
So the main way that Zappos comes into contact with customers is via its call center representatives, who are known as the customer loyalty team, and their job is just to talk with customers all day, every day. So they're very friendly, passionate individuals, and this is exemplified by the fact that they get heavily invested in their customers. They've sent over 13,000 greeting cards every single year to their customers, not only like greeting cards, but wedding anniversary, birthday cards, just to help establish that relationship with customers that they built over the phone and speaking with them. They're also highly empowered and solution oriented, and this means that they have the authority to accept special case returns, offer partial or full refunds in cases of loss of service, pay for damages, and wow customers to provide solutions in any other manner they deem appropriate. So like was previously mentioned, the customers are going to have to wait on the phone for 5 to 10 minutes while they go get a manager's approval to issue a refund or override or whatever it may be. Furthermore, as also was previously mentioned, they're going to have the same call service representative walk them through the entire process of whatever they're calling for. They're not going to go through that obnoxious phone tree that I'm sure we've all climbed a few times. Furthermore, there's unlimited call times when they call in, and this empowers the customer loyalty team to help establish that critical bond and relationship with the customer that allows for better retention rates and longevity. An example of this is the man pictured on the screen is a customer loyalty team employee of Zappos, and he was on the phone for 10 hours and 43 minutes with one single customer. Yeah, I know. And even though the customer, she called in to place an order, and the order was placed within like 5 minutes, and the rest of that time they spent talking about vacations, future plans, what they had going on in their life, and it developed not only a critical bond between the customer loyalty team member and the customer, but also Zappos and the customer. Like, I'm 100% sure she's going to be a Zappos customer for the rest of her life. Some other critical policies that Zappos enables to help facilitate better customer service is they have a no upselling policy. So when you call in to place an order or resolve an issue about an order that you have, they're not going to try and push other merchandise onto you. They also have a 365-day return policy, but there's also been examples where customers have exceeded that 1-year mark and they've continuously accepted returns. They also have completely free shipping and returns, and this goes both ways. So it doesn't matter if you buy a $10 pair of shoes or a $50 handbag or $500 worth of clothing, whatever it is, you're not going to have to pay shipping. And the same goes for returns. You're not going to have to pay for that return label to send it back. And this goes in contrast to a lot of other online retailers like Amazon or H&M, where you have to pay for shipping at least one way or the other. And all these factors we've listed about Zappos and ways they help facilitate their customer service has led to many great benefits.
Alright, so one of the benefits of having a customer service culture in your business is that, for example, you can win national awards from the American Business Society. They have like these awards from the Gold Stevie Award, where they spend 2 to 3 months analyzing best business practices in America. And Zappos won for sales and customer service in 2018. And they were also a winner of the 2017 Pinnacle Award, which is like a cult business award, for achieving the highest levels of brand loyalty as well. So, a strong company culture in service, also like we mentioned, creates loyal employees. So, Fortune magazine named them 11 out of 100 other companies that they looked at, above Apple, who was 23rd, and also kind of like a standard in business for like company employee loyalty. So, and also lastly, it creates loyal repeat customers, which is kind of the goal of having that as one of their core principles. So 75% of their business comes from repeat customers, and in 2018 they were number 3 in net sales for online footwear after only 10 years of being in business. So as you can see, they are above Nike, and they were just purchased by Amazon this year. So yeah. So customer experience testimonials really create a lot of like word of mouth marketing, which is really inexpensive but like profitable way to like market your company. I'll give one of these examples is the best man at a wedding story, where Zappos actually sent his shoes to him even though like he sent it to the wrong city. They like sent it to him free of charge, just so that he could have shoes at a wedding and not be like barefoot at his best friend's wedding. So it creates word of mouth, and yeah.
So just to kind of wrap up with what the key points we've been pushing with our presentation is that, just to reiterate, customer service is the service the company provides to the customer at a particular point in time, whereas customer experience is how the customer themselves perceive that service both immediately and over time. And some of the best ways to help facilitate customer service and customer experience, as was mentioned early on, was happy employees make happy customers, listen to the voice of your customers. This includes both positive and negative feedback, and be a little customer obsessed. There's so many companies out there who say that the customer is king and they live for their customer, but if they don't incorporate that mentality into their actual strategy, they're gonna fall short on customer attainment and retention. And a good quote that just encompasses everything we've been saying is that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel, by Maya Angelou. And this just goes to show that you may think you have outstanding customer service, but if your customer experience is falling short or subpar, then your company is going to suffer in the long run with customer acquisition and retention. Thank you. Questions?
We've got time for 1 or 2 questions. So how does a company, go ahead, Ben.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I didn't, maybe you mentioned it, but when did this company start? I've never really heard from them.
So they're only 10 years old, and they were just purchased by Amazon. So I think that makes it like 2008, 2009 is when they first launched. Yeah, so they're a pretty young company to be making. If you go back to like their net sales, it's like, I mean, they're just under Walmart and Amazon, so they have a pretty incredible supply chain as well, based on their sales are almost completely online. So. online store?
Yeah, it's like an online retailer, kind of like Amazon, but they do a lot of high-end merchandise as well, so you can buy like Burkhardt's on there and stuff. But it's a little bit more inclusive.
So, what do they do different in the hiring practices of their employees? What do they do in particular to try to implement them?
So, like having great customer service is like the foundation of their company, right? So when they're hiring employees, especially for the customer loyalty team, they make sure they find people who are very friendly, very passionate about the job that they're being hired to do, but also are very like a people person. You don't want to hire someone who is, I'm sure, like a lot of typical call center employees who they see it as more of a hassle to deal with customers than a pleasure in serving them. So they need to make sure that the aspects that the individuals they hire, the personality traits align with the people that they want to serve their customers and provide that like exponentially better customer service than a lot of other companies.
And they've also been known to, after training, offer people money to quit.
If they
That way they can try to just keep the people that want to be there.
They have like a 37% turnover rate because of how quickly they get rid of people who
fall short.
on their core values.
That's kind of what I was looking for, because that seems something different that other companies don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll stop. That's right. Okay, he won't stop. This thing is unstoppable. Can you stop it?